right, ladies, and all ladies, beautiful ladies. What's
That
up,
was
y'all?
so funny.
Thank y'all for joining us. Another episode of the Trio Podcast. We are back. Yet another one. What's the deal? I'm your girl, Chrissy. Of course, I got my gang, Fallon, Mook Duke, Mookie, Janice, all of the above.
Right. It was so funny when you was like, ladies, and more ladies.
That is the Jamaican butterscotch.
Yeah. That gave me a little chuckle in the middle of my day.
Right. What's going on with y'all? What's the deal? Start catch your time.
I know. Well, you guys know that I'm working from home now. So that's kind of like, I think that's the best case scenario for having to work in a field that you didn't necessarily choose on your own, you know what I'm saying? And then just based on family dynamic and just, work-life balance and all of that stuff. It's been, something that I've been trying to materialize and manifest for quite some time, because I've spent many years, since I had my first job when I was 15.
Yeah,
I've worked all the jobs. I've done the mall retail jobs during Christmas time, them same ass Christmas songs and carols. I didn't work at the offices. I didn't work for the Black companies, for the Black businesses. I worked for the startups, like big corporate, like all of the different, scenarios. So this is kind of just like, in alignment with what I was doing before in the real estate property management world, but it's something that's a little bit, less bandwidth for me, having to commit to on a daily basis in tandem with everything else I have going on. So that's been a good transition. And I think closing out the end of the year, we're always looking at okay, what did we get done? What did we not get done? Where's the focus? Has it shifted? Has it changed? So I'm having those thoughts too, kind of just trying to recalibrate, okay, what's what,
It's the fact that we're here now. It's like the year went by so fast.
So crazy.
I feel like we just celebrated my birthday, in January, and that happened so quick.
We literally did.
No, it seriously did. So yeah, Mookie, what about you? What's going on with you?
I feel like the last 3 years has been just a blink of an eye. Maybe because we had to sit down for 2
since COVID.
Yeah.
And then it's the fourth quarter just always come and go so fast. But I too am trying my best to remote work me. I've given myself until February. Yeah. Either way, I'm going to leave that job in February.
Right.
But it's the fourth quarter, so I feel like it's just a chance to Fallon said, reflect. This year I didn't write a letter. Typically I would write a letter to myself,
okay,
with expectations for the year, and then you open it up at the end of the year just to see what happened. I'll write from where I'm at right now, what my thoughts, dating life, what I want to do, and just see did you do any of it, or just to see where was my mind at that time. And it's funny because I did it last year, and it's just
girl,
you're sis, you didn't check off none of the boxes and shit.
You didn't even like him like that. You know what I'm saying? Just
right.
those emotions, from the date, the time, thoughts, everything. And it's just so interesting. I love to just reflect and see the growth. Yeah. But for 2024, I'm excited. I put in the chat, my thing for this year is just stay ready.
Mm-hmm. Wait, 23 or 24?
20, wait, what's next year?
23, girl. Wait a minute. You just don't jump us ahead now. Wait a minute.
24 shit.
23 is stay ready. Stay ready for all big and small opportunities. No matter, stay ready. That's what I'm going into the new year with. Same goes. Who told me not to give a deadline? I think Fallon. One of y'all mentioned before. It could have been Fallon. Do not give yourself these deadlines because ... And I would give myself a deadline and feel so shitty when I don't meet it and put myself under so much stress. So it's you know what? Cruise control this shit. Let it form and present itself when it's ready properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And then we make big deadlines. That's the whole thing. We make the big deadline. I want to make $2 million. Whoa. How about we make the 10 calls this week that we said we was going to call in order to you know what I'm saying? Move just the small incremental goals, make it not so
You just want to feel I have something to present. I got to present this, got to deliver. And then it's you don't meet it. And it's fuck, what did I do? It's not time. It's not time.
Yeah. How about you, Kay? What's going on with you, girl?
Oh my God. Well, I'm finally feel I can slow down. I finally feel now I can kind of slow down, I guess, when it comes to the work and the projects.
Yeah.
We just finished our I'll be working with Gina Verse,
Yeah.
in conjunction with Sway's Universe. So we just finished our last cipher, which I think might be for the year. If we might do one more with the more mainstream artists, but so we just wrapped up our last cipher, which is amazing. Like they're coming out so dope. We're getting really good feedback. The numbers are great on Sway's Universe. For it to be new content, something that we're just introducing to people. So we just wrapped our last cipher. And so hopefully this is kind of like it, I actually just do 2 videos. I'm dropping another video with Quincy White and D Smoke. Can't talk about it, but that was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, so I actually had a dialogue. I had a speaking role, so I had dialogue, which was crazy because I guess they just love my outfit and my whole aesthetic so much. They're like, "Oh, you're talking."
Okay.
So I'm like, "Oh, let them do this."
You got your first speaking role, child. That's your first.
Yeah, I had a
role.
real actual speaking role. So and Tori was in the video too, which was dope. So
girl, that card.
Right.
So you know what? For me, there have been so many things that I would have never imagined myself doing this year. So I guess rolling into next year, my motto was go with the flow. I'm not gonna put so much pressure on myself. I'm really just gonna go with the flow. Will set more be more disciplined. Like, okay, this week, cause I know I'm very loose with money. Like sometimes I could be not disciplined and I know that about myself. So I'm like, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. But I know I want to get a little bit tighter because for me, it's like, okay, you're about to be 38 in January. Like, sis, 2 years from now is 40. Like, what does that bank account talking about? What is your savings talking about? Where are you realistically trying to be at 40? Like, think about moving, think about your apartment, think about a house, whatever it is you're trying to do. Like, really, really start getting disciplined and setting yourself up for that. So that's really, if anything, I'm going to buckle down on that, which would be more like finances. Like, okay, can't do starting girl going. Mookie bought me a Keurig machine. Go in there and make your coffee for 2 days.
Okay, right. What's the excuse?
Go in there and make your coffee. You don't need the Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Because when I calculate how much I spend on stuff like that, that's like $80 a week.
Let me tell you,
I might go twice a day. You know what I'm saying? I'm too lazy and don't want to make it at home.
I have a juicer. So I used to juice like regular, bottle it up so that I can have it. And so when my sister was here, we was trying to order some coffee from somewhere and it was just too much. And so I made us coffee, bottled it up, and I'm like, let's just stick it in the freezer, just being funny, right? And it came out so good. So since then, I just started making my own coffee, bottling it up, tossing it in the fridge. And so I just grab it and just go. And I make it to my liking. So it does save a lot of money.
It does. And that's going to be my main goal, is like really cutting back on like all the not necessary stuff, not unnecessary spending, I should say. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And I just really want to take the next 2 months to kind of like declutter, like go through a lot of clothes, get rid of a lot of stuff. I want to clear my space. I love clearing my space in November, December. That's my thing. Like I buy new comforters. I'm gonna probably paint another accent wall in my room, buy a new picture. I just want new energy, new space.
The closet cleaning, Christian, because you've been talking about this closet cleaning for like 6 months.
I know. So, it's time. No, it's time. It's time. And I've been slowly but surely doing it because I have a lot of stuff that I've been taking to the Goodwill. So I was having rid of clothes, and I haven't been buying new clothes. So I've been, me, I always, every time I feel like I gotta go, I gotta buy a shirt or something. So I haven't been buying nothing new.
No, donate 10 shirts, then buy 15.
And then buy, to replace what has been. It don't even matter.
And then I just been getting rid of not buying. I'm like, you better.
Yeah.
So yeah, but other than that, everything has been great. I do want to go into, speaking of videos, of course, I want to shout out and highlight Rick Jane Bitter. That's the video that I'm featuring in. I am the new boo, the new girl. Okay. I'm here for it.
Right.
Shout out to Anthony. He was my boo in the video. He was so easy to work with. I had to actually kiss him and be romantic with him, and it was easy. First of all, he's fine, so it's very easy because he's very attractive.
Oh, okay.
And then secondly, it was just nice to kind of step into those roles. I would love to do more I'm just getting called for them, so I would love to step more into those kind of roles as far as small acting, if it's skits, if it's video placements, whatever. I really would love to start transitioning to doing those kind of things or those kind of roles. So I, of course, shout out Rick Jane. Bitter is out now. You can stream it on all platforms. Please check out the video. The numbers are doing great. The link is in my bio also. You can find it on her page, RYPK. Last name is Jane, Gane. So yeah, shout out to Rick.
Perfect.
Dixon Bay.
Shout out to that. Shout outs to Rick. A lot happening in music right now. I didn't even come with a whole laundry list of content to cover. I think that the obvious is that there's a lot happening in the media entertainment world with Black men. And it's kind of like on the tail end of what we discussed on one of our last pods, as far as just Black men and mental health, and doing temperature checks and kind of figuring out where they're at, emotionally, and just like all of those different things. And I think that we're seeing it play out in real time, just in different facets. So we got rest in peace to Takeoff, which was like such an unexpected death that was just, it's we got that. We'll chop it up. We got that. We're not gonna go too deep into it here, you know what I'm saying? But with the Kanye and the Kyries, the K's is what I call it, the KKKs. Kendrick, it was a lady that I listened to on YouTube, and she said, as far as just the energy that's happening right now, you got Kendrick, Kyrie, you got, Kanye.
What did I miss about Kendrick?
No, just Lamar? In the sense that Kendrick has a lot to say.
Got it.
A lot of the other political, socio-economic issues that we have and plights that we have to face as a people, Black people. But where do y'all want to start with it? Again, like I said, rest in peace to Takeoff. It was very unexpected. The details, I think you guys can go look those up if y'all want to see the exact details of exactly what happened. But it's just unfortunate that, we keep seeing this happening, and we are sincerely becoming desensitized to Black male death. And I think that it is a problem. And I don't really know where to begin or end with that.
I would say get the heavy stuff out of the way. And that's, of course, no disrespect, but like life is just heavy, so let's just try to breeze through that and make this a light show. Mm-hmm. It's just sad. I was trying to do the math as best as I can. And with all the deaths, it feels like we're losing at least our rappers every 6 to 9 months. We have like a major death.
Yeah, we do.
And it only makes me reflect back to like, dang, when I was coming up, I don't recall this artist dying at this level. I don't know if that's because the averages is different. Like we have way more celebrities now than we did before because it was different. But nonetheless, like that shit took me by surprise. And after that day, I have yet to just wake up and check my social media, because usually I listen to something, I believe I shared this 3 goals of the day, but I just open my Instagram, Nina Dudes pop up with the information of Takeoff XYZ, and I'm like, what the fuck? It just caught me way off guard. And it was like Quavo for that to be his nephew / brother, you know what I mean? And when I look back, because obviously it's always hindsight, is 2020, however it go. Like every picture, he always had his arm around him, even since like a baby. When I look at the Migos, my heart broke.
Loved him.
Because I don't know what their relationship were. They say he talked to him before he passed, but I'm sure the relationship was not where he would have wanted it to be. So it kind of makes you just look at relationships just as a whole and what's worth kind of breaking apart. And in this case, we know some was business. Some say it was a little sketchy with him and Quavo because of the Sweetie incident that's still alleged, but it just makes me think of relationships, and you always gotta mend them and fix them however you can, and not let anything get in between, because that was the last way he wanted to say I'm sorry, was to a casket and an energy at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And I don't even like, I think I'm with you as far as opening up. That's the first thing when I got up in the morning, online, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning, because it was obviously like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when the incident happened. And I'm like looking at Twitter on 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're saying that he passed away. And then, of course, not even intentionally looking for it, I'm looking at a video, and I'm like, why do people do that? Like he's sitting there bleeding out, and someone's actually recording it and either sold the footage or decided to post it for likes and for clout. It's just awful. It's absolutely awful. It's like one of the members of the Migos is dead. It's just, I can't fathom that. That's still trying to process. This is the biggest hip hop group in this generation. Like they are the biggest group, and you're talking about one of the members got killed accidentally. It wasn't, that wasn't his bullet. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But the most quiet one, they say, the most reserved one, the one out the way, the one not even in the mix, the one that's always on the scene, smiling, hugging, what's up? Like very not confrontational at all. And he got called home. So as if that was my child, I would be pissed the fuck off, period. Like, of course, mourning and sad, but it would be more anger and disappointment. Like, how did y'all even let this happen? Like, period. So, yeah, I'm not, elaborating on it too much, but yeah, it's just very, very unfortunate. It's still weighing heavy on me. And like you said, like, it's something happening all the time. Every time you look up, somebody's passing away. And I forgot what other celebrity just, he was in his parking garage and he just got those burns on his face. His car blew up.
Oh, I don't know anything about.
Oh yeah, it was it's not Jay Leno. It's one of those actors like that. And literally something just happened. Yes, he was in his parking garage. I think either starting up his car. I'm going to get the story, y'all, so don't quote me exactly. But he's starting up, and he actually is experiencing now burns. Like, his whole body was burned, but his face, on one side of his face, completely burned. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Like, it's another like big celebrity, like one of the but white celebrities from like white Hollywood, not Jay Leno, but one of those guys, very, very mainstream. But he's in the hospital for burns, and I'm like, it's just too much of this. Like, we have to be able to detach ourselves from this shit. And then I'm like, once my content drops, I'm going off for a while because it's too much. Let me get all my content out the way. I gotta disconnect from this. But yeah, like, it's a lot.
It's a lot happening. We can skip over the major intricacies of the whole Kyrie conversation and Kanye conversation. I think it's just, again, a continued conversation we need to keep having just about mental health and making sure that we are checking in with our Black men, giving them platforms and spaces to be able to speak freely, supporting them in that right, and then also publicly standing up for them, which I don't think we have a problem with Black women. I think that's the one of the issues and one of the conversations that's being had is that when it's our turn, we don't necessarily feel like we get the backing that we need as Black women. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Mm-hmm. But I just think interchangeably, we need to make sure that we are supporting each other the best way we can, because climate-wise, energy-wise, it is a lot going on. A lot of, truths being told and secrets being uncovered and all of that kind of stuff. So, another thing just for the artists, Black male artists or whatever, just stay woke, man. Stay alert. And do not feel like leaving your circumference of what you may be used to, makes you any less real or any less down or any of that. You know what I'm saying? It is your obligation to remove yourself from situations that do not necessarily serve you safety wise. You are a hot, what is it, like a liability? Is that the right word? Like, you are, like you can't
read the room. Like, if the shit don't feel right, it's not right. Leave. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, what will make me, like, if I'm in a situation or at a party or a function and somebody's arguing, that's my cue to leave. Because that shit will escalate. Or if I feel like it's about to get volatile for us to fight, that's my cue to start making my way towards the exit. Why would I be standing around recording so somebody can start popping off, shooting, or it can escalate somewhere else outside? Like, read the room and, act accordingly too. Like, don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to possibly get yourself killed or injured.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace to take off, shout outs to our Black men, Kyrie and Kanye. We do stand with you for the most part. For some, it's a lot going on. But moving along, like Mookie said, we're going to try to keep it like this episode. So one thing that I did come across on V Bozeman page, I remember V Bozeman from Crenshaw.
Yeah, from Crenshaw. Mm-hmm.
I love her. She's still doing her thing industry-wise, music-wise, still making big moves. But she had put a post, so she was just kind of checking the temperature. And she asked the question, what do you guys think that is going through a man's mind when his bride is walking down the aisle and he's in tears?
Oh.
And I thought that was such a very interesting question. I'm like, wow, yeah. I don't know if that's ever been discussed and talked about. And I do have a rule of thumb when I look at, videos and footage of people getting married and things like that. I feel like the man doesn't always necessarily have to cry, but I feel like if not, I kind of do feel like if one or both people are not crying at some point of the ceremony, I'll be feeling like it ain't, y'all really ain't.
There's no connection. There's no
once
connection.
we get to the front of that, that area, and we're in front of our family, and if you've really fought as an individual for your own, you know what I'm saying, self-development and growth and who you become as a woman or a man. And then of course the things that you may have had to sacrifice or endure or go through to get to a place where you guys can, you know, honor your union publicly for your family and things to see. That's the kind of thing I think about. So I feel like that would be very hard to do without any kind of emotions or tears involved. And it is ironic that a lot of the times men are the one that's boo-boo hooing. Like the girl all our time crying for the however long we've been together, going through different things. By that time, we like, come on. And they the ones that's kind of just overwhelmed with emotion. So what do you got? The question is, what do you think is going through a man's mind when he is seeing his bride walk down the aisle and he happens to be in tears and he's crying? What do y'all think is going through his mind?
I love that actually. And I'm a huge fan of the Black Love page. I think that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. Like that is I mean, I will scroll and be crying with them because so I have actually seen a lot of videos like that. And that's a great question. I don't even know if I can really quite answer that thoroughly. I just think that I listen to the vows. So that kind of helps with the answer to that question. You know, like you've been there for me. You took me in. I was broke. I was homeless. You fathered my son or my daughter, whatever. Like, right. I'm just saying, like, whatever the case, right. Whatever. I feel like the storytelling of why I'm crying and why I'm emotional comes out in those vows, so right. You took my son in, like you held it down for so many years, yada, yada, yada. You're my soulmate. You've had my back. You're my backbone. So, I think when you're watching those kind of videos, it all just comes out in the vows, but I think for a man, I feel like it's all of that. What I just said in the nutshell was like, you complete me. You are whole. Like, damn, like this is really happening. Like I'm committing to you. Like you're the one, you know what I'm saying? And now you're walking down and not that he probably hasn't seen her with makeup on, but it's a different type of look now. Like you say, we're in front of family. You got that white dress on, like your father's walking you down the aisle. It's a lot of emotional attachment to that when it's happening, So that's just my point of view. I just think it's all what I said in a nutshell. But that's an excellent question. Mm-hmm. That's an excellent question.
I would love to
ask a brother that we know that was
a man. Yeah. There was some feedback in the comments, and some men gave they feedback on POV. But what you think, Luke?
I think it's like we did it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a different energy because typically at weddings, you're surrounded by everybody who loves you, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a condensed version of the people that love you because it's like, okay, sometimes you have to cap it and everybody can't make it. Yeah. You got your family there, you got the friends who experience the relationship with you right there. You got your best man. And then it's like, here's your woman. And you guys are locked in. When she's walking down the aisle, your eye contact is boom, boom. Like we're here. Mm-hmm. And I think it is just a overall accumulative just ball of like emotions. Like that's my wife. Like she's, you know what I mean? And she's beautiful. She has this dress on and that's your first time seeing her for the day, so
supposed to be.
Well, yeah. Right, because you don't really see her before the wedding in her gown, you know what I mean? So I think it's just those emotions just really just take over, and the vows really makes it so personal, if you're just and it's just love. Like I enjoy being around just love, so I think they're just crying. I think the tears come because it's like we did it.
Yeah,
I always cry at weddings.
There, I just feel like
you really, yeah,
I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
like the wedding that I recently went to was really intimate, right? So what they did, which I've never experienced, probably because I've always attended like such big weddings, but because they invited like those who have been through thick and thin with them. So they passed the ring just so people to sow in like just positive energy into their union, like positive love into the union. Nice. I was like, excuse me?
Right.
Okay, that was different, but it was like, you're here, you guys are an extension of our love and whatever. It was a beautiful speech, and it was actually like the ring box, like, please, pray into this marriage, sow into this union, blah, 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 to make you, I just thought it was beautiful.
Yeah. We love weddings over here at the Trio Pod. If you guys have any wedding stories or and it's funny because some of the feedback too from the men in the comments was kind of like, some men was kind of like, you know, they thinking about all the pussy they're gonna have to give up. I'm like, they're not thinking that when they seeing their wife walk down the aisle. If they are, then
that is not what they're thinking about.
Corny. Like, where
that is super corny.
That is the least.
I don't think that that's the case at that point. Because whatever, and that's a whole nother conversation. As far as the possibilities. But it was stuff like that, and it was a lot of men just saying, like, you know, looking at like my future, my past, and everything all in one. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I've had to go through, because sometimes men have failed relationships too. And a lot of them don't really have the faith and belief that one day they will be able to have the kind of relationship that maybe they've idealized or thought about in their mind, you know what I'm saying? And actually get to that point, because it's one thing to just get married, you know what I mean? It's always going to be a woman that's willing to get married, that wants that, you know what I mean? But when it's your woman that you've chosen and that has chosen you, I guess one of the guys were saying too, like, you know, to know that you've been chosen through all that you guys have been through, he was like, that's enough to have you just, you know, you know, all of that. So, you know, something to think about.
Wait, so I don't remember, if you know, I was in Tasia's wedding.
Yeah.
Is the groom, is he supposed to see the dress at all? Like, can he see the dress? No, not at all. So once the bride picks her wedding dress, she's supposed to keep it private until the actual wedding day.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
And that's why the day of, they're like not looking. One more topic. You actually sent this topic in. They had a clip of 50 talking about being loyal and consistent, right? And basically 50 was just saying that, you know, your girl could be in a room full of bosses, millionaires, men that could very easily ascend her lifestyle to the next level, right? Which a lot of men are concerned about, like, will my woman stay loyal in these kind of rooms? And what he was illustrating was that, yes, your woman can stay loyal in those rooms if you are catering to her emotion, if her emotional well-being and safety are the most paramount things, you know, and you're constantly feeding into her, and she'll be looking like, okay, when is it time to go? Did my man call? Okay, wait a minute.
That's what he said. Like, my man, I gotta go.
I gotta go. It's time for me to go. Y'all be safe. You know, God bless. And just, you know, that's what it is. So what are your thoughts on that? I definitely agree.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I like 50 people. I mean, he trolls and have a good time, but like, I'm reading his book, Hustle Smarter, Not Harder.
Okay.
Right title, but nonetheless, like, he's a smart guy and he's 100% correct, you know, and I feel like most guys, I think that's where their insecurity lies. Like, if you moving and shaking with people who they deem more successful, or, you know, have more to offer you, or whatever the case may be, I think that is what kind of gets them a little bit insecure. But as long as you're feeding into your woman, like, it's tunnel vision. It is straight tunnel vision. I just feel like when you locked in, nobody can come in and disrupt that at all. It doesn't matter who she's around.
Anybody.
It ain't anybody. Like, when you're tapped into that level, it really doesn't matter. And I know it's easy. It's 50. Like, who are you gonna cheat on 50 with?
Right.
His peers is other billionaires. You know what I mean? Right. You know, but you making 60,000 a year, and here's this millionaire. But at the same time, I think when you're locked in with your person, none of that shit really matters. Like,
do you think it's specific to women? Because I feel like that might be specific to a woman's pedigree more so than a man's pedigree.
I think so. I agree. I agree because I don't know. I don't know. See, because what I'm about to say can fly both ways. But
okay, let's hear it.
But I can only speak how we get down. I believe, you know, like, nigga, I don't care what you got.
Right.
But guys, I feel like if you're not used to certain type of women, and then when you get access to those type of women and they going, I think you will roll the dice and say, fuck it.
Not roll the dice, bitch.
Like, you'll be willing to gamble that away, and then that's how they end up falling flat on their face anyway. Like, we've seen that, you know, play stuff out 1,000 times. But I would go on record and say that this applies way more to women, you know what I mean, than it does to men, because
yeah, I think so. You know, we don't really require A lot. And I think so much of the focus, you know what I mean? Of course, there's this whole culture and ideology of the high value man and women wanting to be with the men in the top percent. And woo, woo, woo. Women just want to be able to live a lifestyle that they deem appropriate for whatever it is that their basis is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to be 100% honest, if you making 500,000 a year, opposed to, which is still very minute in the grand scheme of how much people are really making, but just for the sake of the conversation, if you're making 500,000 a year opposed to 10 million or a million, you really still living a very, you know what I'm saying? You can still live a very good life off of that, even 100,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got two incomes coming in. So more than anything, and it's the same reason why too a woman could be with one of those millionaires and be cheating on him with Joe Blow from down the street. Wallow just talked about that on the Big Facts Pod, just basically talking about, you know, Timmy with the big leg or the third leg or whatever he was saying will come through and shut the whole situation down, because at the end of the day, women just want to be nurtured and loved and adored and cared for. And there's no amount of money that is going to surpass the innate need that we have for that kind of stimulation and interaction from our men. So totally agree, Mr.
But we saw that with the housewife and the pool guy. Like
right.
we see scenarios where women just want to be seen. You
Right.
know, somebody can remember a very small detail and makes the world because her husband totally forgot. It can be anything, whether happy birthday, happy anniversary, or oh, how'd the kid do at the swim, whatever. It could be something super, super small, nice haircut, you know, whatever.
Right.
And it means a lot because he at least sees her. So
right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, fellas, that's some game for you. Don't get too bogged down with the whole financial part of it. You know, it just doesn't work that way. Most women, when we are aligned properly, this is where you want to aim for first, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, everything else will be a bonus at that point, because it's like, we had that conversation, like the married money, and when it's just money, what is required of you? Like, I just feel like it doesn't work. It doesn't. And
you'll still be looking, you'll still be searching and scrolling, and you know, all of that kind of stuff.
You won't feel like this is your better half. Like you don't feel it. Like most people who got married for the real reasons, when you ask them, it's like they just knew. Like I knew, like I met her, like I knew I was gonna marry her. Like you get that so much from the men who met a woman, they genuinely fell in love, they chose each other, and they knew, like, that's just that.
Right. Well, shout out to 50. We're gonna go ahead and close it out for this week. We just had a little razzle dazzle episode this week. We should be did you have a viewer question?
Something like it.
Okay.
Something like it. We're missing Christian, but we'll make this fast. So I remixed our last segment just a little bit for this week. It's just called Quick Thoughts, where it's just a quick thought on this particular topic. Okay. And this is a really last minute thing that I noticed, and it came from Twitter. I'll try my best to read it really fast because it's the reply that kind of got to me.
Okay.
This is from a user. Name doesn't matter. It says, my single 60-plus-year-old mother needs a man. She's super lonely. That's why I'm so against telling women it's okay to grow old and alone. Do not grow old and alone. It's not a pretty sight to see. Then the reply to that from another lady said, fortunately, I speak bird, so I'm able to translate this tweet. My mom isn't married like me. She's a failure. She made choices that led to her loneliness, and now she's paying for them. Being a wife proves I'm valuable and I was chosen. Just look at the men agreeing with me in my mentions.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty straightforward, a little harsh for some that may not be ready to hear that truth as openly. But I have a mother who was of a particular age, worked all of her life, was married once to my father for a short period of time, other relationships, none that lasted substantial amounts of time. And now she is a woman that has a free house, 3-bedroom, big old house, and it's just her. So her and I have discussed at nauseum different thoughts that I've had about, why I feel like she, made the decision that she made as far as what was important to her earlier on in her life as far as career. And I think it's really important to note that if the women that she's talking about, my 60-year-old mother, these are women that were born between a certain time. These are women that grew up in this whole women's lib thing. They were a part of that, and they were the pioneers of that. And my mom just had a conversation with my aunt about this too, or whatever. Like, yeah, we thought that we had to get jobs and we had to work and we had to, you know what I'm saying, be, you know, do what the white women were doing, and it's our rights. And you know, she admitted that. So she knows that so many of them bought into that story. And as a result, so many of them have been able to create lives that are sustainable, where they can retire, you know what I'm saying, before their age, and be able to still live, you know, pretty healthy lives. And, you know, they have the grandkids and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, baby, you know what I'm saying? Really, when it comes time to just be on, and that's what I don't think we think about. We are always thinking about partnership and romance, you know, like real partnership. Like, I have a partner to walk me through different phases of life, where I'm going to really need somebody there to make decisions. If I'm in the hospital and they need to say, okay, we need to do this surgery, who do I call? My kids are out living their lives. My friends are getting older. They have their own lives to tend to. Who am I going to have to really make sure that I am safe, protected, and okay? And I don't think that even our generation, I don't think we're thinking about that. We're thinking about it. Well, what is he, you know, what is he driving, and what we got, what, you know, are we, all of the BS. So anyway, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a quick thought.
It's okay. But
I have so many thoughts. I have so many thoughts about that, because you know, my mom fits into that category. And again, we have very open dialogue about it. And she'll say like, oh, well, I'm happy. I'm living my life. You know, I'm like, but it's, I don't know how happy you can be alone, you know, especially the older you get. So I don't know.
I mean, Fallon, you pretty much nailed it. And you're right, because that baby boomer generation definitely comes from the cloth of, you know, get out there, go get it, go work, go do XYZ, you know? And, you know, my mom is divorced, and she does fit the age group that they are discussing, you know, in this tweet.
Yep.
But I do think that you should have a partner. You know, I definitely think that it's beneficial, like you said, beyond just the, oh, I have a man, just the screaming the namesake. Because I actually disagree with what the person said. Like, that's not bird behavior. Like, you're trying to install in women to go ahead and be single, don't have anybody. You know what I mean? So then it's like, why would you want people just to be alone?
Yeah.
And if you have children, then all that falls on them. You know, it makes me think about it being Christmas and your children went off and had their families, and you're waking up alone. There's something that occurs and you're alone. Yeah. You know, and then it's like and in that sense, you're kind of like needing your kids way more. You're going to show up for your parents, yes, but I still think just that partnership, that livelihood, the traveling. I don't think at 60 your nights out should only be with girlfriends.
For sure.
You know what I mean, like I do think companionship is warranted. I don't think we were put here to live a life 100% alone.
Well, somewhere along the line, we started to buy into the fact that we appear doper by being able to do everything by ourselves, right, including living life by yourself. And at some point it became like a bragging rights thing. Like, you know, I got it on my own. You know what I'm saying? I travel alone. I do this alone, whatever. And so if you start talking about, well, I travel with my man, I do everything with my man, he my best friend, then you look like a pick-me, or then you look like you don't have any identity of your own or whatever, when ultimately we were made to partner. We were made to, you know what I'm saying, have partnership and companionship. So somewhere along the line, the ego got involved to where it was like girls trying to gaslight other women, like, oh, girl, be alone. No, girl, you be alone. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you should do, if that's what you really want to do. But genuinely, when you really start peeling back the layers, most women don't want to do that.
No, like, you can do it all, but you can educate yourself, but the degree will not keep you warm. You're traveling alone when it's best to travel with two. how many night for ones do you want to have? I can say, like, I don't want to be single at 60. I don't care how happy I am. And I understand that this is not a one rule applies. You have some women who are widowed, you have some who are divorced, you have some after 30 plus years that, they're finally by themselves. So it doesn't apply. But the overall that we're discussing is just women at 60 being single.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I personally don't want to be single at 60.
Yeah.
And there's women who are in their 60s who want a relationship, and nothing is wrong with that. I feel like we should stop acting like wanting a relationship is a bad thing, or at least wanting a relationship with a man is a bad thing, because it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kay, I know you have some experience too, considering that your mom is of a particular age and has been married for quite some time. And I'm sure you guys have probably had conversations just about what her partnership means to her and how that's, basically, giving her a place to fall back on. I think for women, I mean, men need women too, for sure. Like, they can't live without us, but they don't fight that though. They always got a woman. You break up with him tomorrow, he'll be with somebody else the next day.
Yeah.
We're the ones that are always trying to make it seem like we're okay, but a lot of the times we're not readily able to admit, like, no, we need that person to lean on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to remember, if you guys know, this is my mom's third marriage. So she's like, yeah, I'm capped out. So
this is it.
At this point, it has to work. It is going to work. So, and then what's dope about her and my stepfather, Ron, who I don't really consider a stepfather, but they've been on each other since they were kids. Like, literally, this is somebody that she's 100% familiar with. They were friends first, like literally friends first. He had a girlfriend back in the day. She had her dudes. They used to always talk about each other's relationships. So they had that dynamic for years first before they decided in 2005, okay, we're going to tie the knot. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what we should probably start, just from my personal journey and, having my mom as an example. I think that I'm going to try to find a friend first. You know what I mean? I'm going to look for a friend first. Because I'm looking, I'm not going to listen. I'm on the prowl. I'm on the prowl.
Not the prowl.
Like, I'm not ashamed to admit that I am looking for a man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely looking for one. Every single guy I come across, I'm looking at him as a potential, like, okay, is this somebody I could possibly be in a relationship with? Every single guy I go out on a date with or dealt with, talking to, I'm like, okay, is he potential to be my man?
Yeah.
Period. So I want to be able to, establish the friendship first and develop that and see what that turns into, and potentially find me someone that I can build with and have a partnership with. So I'm totally team. I want a man. I love male companionship.
I want a man, right?
I love the male companionship. And I'm looking for that. So.
And I love that. And so, ladies, take note. That is like half of the battle. Because if you're talking about you want to have whatever, if you're saying that you want your own career, your own business or whatever, you have to be able to speak that unapologetically. And I think sometimes we don't, because in the back of our mind, we feel like we can't manifest that, which of course we can manifest anything that we end up, you know what I'm saying, sourcing through our mind. So that's big to be able to.
I don't want to do it alone. I don't want to go through life alone. Tori eventually is going to be 18, 20, 22, 25, like you guys are talking about. She's no longer going to be in my possession. It's going to be one day my child's going to walk away from me, and it's going to be me by myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through life alone. I don't.
And that's the thing, to wrap this up, like, it does come a point when you're an empty nester, and you can fill with all the arts and crafts that you want to. But at the end of the day, you lay down at night,
right?
It's you and your heater. When you hang up the phone from laughing with your girlfriend, it's just you. When you got a toothache, a headache, a fever, it's you getting up to go to the medicine cabinet, not, someone check, hey, babe, you okay? You've been laying down all day. You all right? Let me get you to this emergency hospital. Or you're calling your child at whatever odd times of whatever to say, hey, this is what's going on, versus having someone there. Anything can happen, and vice versa, So I definitely think it's okay to want a relationship, to have it, to not want to grow old, and to have somebody to be there, because you should continue to make memories at that particular age. You shouldn't just be reflecting back. I think it's a dope thing.
Yeah. Amen.
And that's our quick thoughts.
I like that. Well, we're gonna get up out of here. What else y'all got? We got anything to plug? Anybody to shout out? Are we doing Friendsgiving?
We're doing Friendsgiving.
Okay.
So we'll on our next episode we'll recap our Friendsgiving.
We might just do
something. We might go live on our friends. We probably just just go live and just do whatever you want to do.
We might do a live. I
that
think
would be
that's
fun.
the move. I think that's
just have
the move.
we might just have it just propped up. You know what I mean? And just
I want to recreate the scene from Waiting to Exhale. So ladies, get ready. You know,
here we go. Like what?
Nas will have one night only at the Madison Square Garden, February 24th.
Me and Janice already decided that we're going, so let's figure it out, Fallon.
Okay.
Figure it out, Fallon.
Well, yeah.
We'll drop the dates on a better note, but we are going. So
okay.
A trio, 24 hours in New York. Trio takes New York.
That would be awesome.
We're gonna take Mexico and so on and so forth. But whatever.
Right.
But we would like the New York trip, and I think that's doable. We would like the New York trip to be kind of like our first trip of the new year. It's in February, like Janice said.
I'm working logistics, but it is on a Friday. So for your job, I don't know the flexibility. It is remote. I don't know.
We can figure something out. It's possible. We can figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's only going to happen one time, okay? Listen, y'all know me. I'm going regardless.
Right.
I love y'all. It's just, that's a once in a lifetime thing. He bringing out everybody. So I'm excited for it.
I'm going to leave y'all. Like, first of all, if I don't do anything, I hop on a flight and I'll go to a show.
Right.
Shows, hey, I'm touch and go, but that's
it.
All right.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for tuning in with us per usual. Keep following us, TrioPod_. You can follow our individual pages. Also, tap in with us, drop your questions, drop your comments, repost, retweet, all that, whatever. Also, keep subscribing. We appreciate y'all. Our subscriptions, are going up. Thank you to y'all for that. And yeah, we out. Until next time.
Peace out.